So for homework 5, part 3, we were to create a JK flip-flop with an asynchronous set. And so here I have my entity and I named it JK flip-flop. I have 4 inputs, J, K, set, and clock. I have 2 outputs, Q and not Q. And so for the architecture of my design, I have a process which my set, clock, J, and K, all my inputs will be in my sensitivity list. If set is equal to 1, then Q will automatically equal 1, and not Q will automatically equal 0 no matter what J and K is. And so as long as my clock is on a rising edge, which means as long as clock is equal to 1, if J and K equals 0, Q and not Q will result in the same output. If my clock is on a rising edge and my J is 0 and K is 1, then Q will equal 0 and not Q will equal 1, which is called a reset. If my rising edge is a 1 and my J is a 1 and K is equal to 0, then my Q will equal 1 and my not Q will be 0, and this is called a set. Otherwise, if my clock is equal to 1, meaning my rising edge is at a 1, if J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, Q will push not Q, resulting in a toggle. So here I've created a test bench and I've named it JK flip-flop TV. In my architecture, I've instantiated a component which is the same as my entity in the previous design I just showed. And then I have my input set equal to 0, my clock set J and K equal to 0, my outputs are set equal to 0, meaning my Q and not Q. And here I have to instantiate the unit under test, which is the same as my entity, JK flip-flop. And then I create a port map. Here's my set process where set is equal to 0 or set is equal to 1. Here is my clock process where clock is equal to 0 or clock is equal to 1. And here I have my stimulus process where J and K equal 0, J equals 0, and K equals 1, or J equals 1 and K equals 0, or J equals 1 and K equals 1. So here is my simulation for my test bench. I'm going to go through a couple case scenarios. So here my clock is a 1, my set is 0, my J is 1 and my K is 0, so J and K will follow Q and not Q. So Q is 1 and not Q is the opposite, which is 0. That would be considered a set. Here I have my clock is at a rising edge, my set is equal to 0, my J is a 1 and K is 1, so we'll toggle. So Q will be 0 and not Q will be 1. Here I have an example where my set signal is 1. So my rising edge is at a 1, set is 1, my J is at a 0, my K is equal to 1, and when set is activated 1, Q will automatically be 1 and not Q will automatically be 0.